Luxury fashion is built on fantasy. Perfect lives, perfect clothes, perfect beginnings. Runways are polished. Designers are romanticized. Success looks inevitable in hindsight. But this story begins in the opposite place. Not in Paris, not in Milan, not in a design school. It begins with a teenager running from war. No money, no country, no certainty of where he would sleep next. And years later, that same teenager would stand at the top of one of the most powerful luxury fashion houses in the world. Not by fitting in, but by breaking the idea of what luxury was supposed to be. Demna Gvasalia was born in Georgia, a small country in Eastern Europe. His early life was normal, quiet, ordinary. Then war came. In the early 1990s, violent conflict tore through the region. Cities became unsafe, infrastructure collapsed, families fled. Demna was still a child when his family was forced to leave everything behind. Their home, their community, their sense of future. They became refugees. This wasn't a temporary move. It was survival. People imagine homelessness as sleeping on the street. But for refugees, it often looks different. Crowded shelters, temporary housing, couch surfing, living in places that were never meant to be homes. Demna lived in unstable conditions across multiple countries, including Ukraine and Russia, before eventually reaching Germany. As a teenager, he experienced what many never do: being invisible, being unwanted, being treated as a burden. At school, he didn't fit in. At home, nothing felt permanent. In society, he had no status. Luxury was not part of his world. Survival was. Demna didn't grow up admiring haute couture. He grew up noticing clothes on real people, oversized jackets worn too long, hand-me-down sneakers, uniforms, workwear, street clothes shaped by necessity, not trend. Later, he would say something important. Fashion was never fantasy for me. It was reality. Clothes were protection, clothes were identity, clothes were survival. This perspective would later change luxury fashion forever. Eventually, Demna's family stabilized enough for him to study. He chose fashion, not because it was glamorous, but because it was the only language he understood. He enrolled at the Royal Academy of Fine Arts in Antwerp, one of the most demanding fashion schools in the world. He had no money, no safety net, no connections. While other students could fail and try again, Demna couldn't. Failure meant going back to nothing. After graduation, Demna entered the industry, and it rejected him. His designs were too dark, too political, too uncomfortable. Luxury houses wanted beauty. Demna showed reality. For years, he worked quietly. Unpaid internships, low-pay positions, behind the scenes. At one point, he worked at Maison Margiela, a brand known for deconstruction and anonymity. There, he learned something critical. Luxury doesn't have to be pretty. It has to be honest. In 2014, Demna and his brother co-founded Vêtements. The name meant clothes in French. No fantasy, no aspiration, just clothes. Oversized hoodies, distressed denim, references to DHL uniforms and streetwear. Fashion critics were confused. Luxury buyers laughed. Then something unexpected happened. People saw themselves in the clothes, the homeless aesthetic, the refugee silhouette, the uncomfortable truth of modern life. Vêtements exploded. Vêtements didn't sell fantasy, it sold reflection, and luxury fashion had no choice but to respond. In 2015, something unthinkable happened. Demna Gvasalia was appointed creative director of Balenciaga, a refugee, a former homeless teen, an outsider, now in charge of one of the most powerful fashion houses on earth. At Balenciaga, Demna didn't change. Luxury did. Runways featured, oversized coats inspired by displaced people. models walking like ordinary citizens, references to migration, crisis, identity. Critics were divided. Some called it genius, others called it offensive, but no one could ignore it. Demna forced fashion to confront reality. This is not a story about talent alone. It is a story about perspective. Demna understood something most designers didn't. Luxury is not about escape. It is about who gets seen. By bringing refugee aesthetics into high fashion, he changed who luxury was allowed to represent. Demna has spoken openly about trauma, about guilt, about displacement, about never feeling fully safe. Success didn't erase the past, it gave it a platform. His work remains uncomfortable because it is honest,